Hello, my name is Scott Judy, and this is assignment 3.3, Lufthansa CEO Decision Making. Growth Analysis. In light of the current pandemic, it is recommended that there should be no growth for the immediate future. Reductions in aircraft and personnel will be needed. The average number of flights per month has plummeted since March. You can see in January, the average number of flights per month was around 179,000. That slowly started tapering down, and then in March you see it was 139,000, and then bottomed out in April around 70,000 flights per month. Luckily, there is a slow rebound occurring for the month of May and June as restrictions are starting to be loosened. Recovery will be slow and take time. Streamlining processes will be needed. Sell unneeded assets such as planes and facilities. Update facilities that need to be kept, cancel, or postpone purchase contracts. Personnel analysis. Before the pandemic, Lufthansa employed roughly 138,000 employees. Post-pandemic, it's looking to be about 126,000 right now, plus or minus, maybe even more. That is a current workforce reduction prediction or estimation of 19%. That's a loss of 12,000 jobs. This is to cut the cost for labor and goes in hand with the retirement and reduction of flying aircraft. Lufthansa averages roughly 350 people per plane. With that retirement of older aircraft and no need to replace them in short term, cuts must be made. Training of existing employees should be kept to a high standard. Build training programs that allow for cross-training and upward movement within the company. Poor performers need to be let go. And then competition will be immense from other airlines as a rebound takes place. And one area that Lufthansa should focus is on exceptional customer service. Customers will have a wide range of options for travel, and the customer service reputation can be the deciding factor on where they book. So once things start to open up, all the employees should be ready to go, trained, and have a positive workforce attitude. Operations analysis. Operational analysis has concluded that the effects of the pandemic have caused airlines to constrict for the near future. Lufthansa's low-cost airline, Germanwings, will be discontinued. Older large aircraft will be decommissioned. This includes 6 A380 aircraft, 7 A340 aircraft, and 5 747s. Other small aircraft will be placed in temporary storage and then brought out as needed. As flight operations start to resume, there are also aircraft on order, and hopefully those can be implemented and brought into the fleet as the time is right or becomes right. Cash flow analysis. All airlines have taken a huge financial hit when transportation grounded to a halt. Last June, Lufthansa's average stock price was 12.7 euros, slowly climbing to a high in November at 17.1. After there was a slight decline in January and February, followed by a sharp decline to 9.8 in March and bottoming out in April at 8.2 euros. This correlates with the drop in flights per month as seen in the operational analysis. Just as the flights are starting to increase, the stock prices are starting to make a slow uptick. So again, temporary hard hit situation, recovery should be bouncing back, but there are still unforeseen circumstances on how that will affect the airline industry. Cash flow analysis continued over the last 2 quarters. Net loss was reported at 2.1 billion euros just for the last quarter, but this visualization shows the last 2 quarters. So again, just this last hard hit quarter was 2.1 billion by itself. Gross profit for the quarter was negative 729 million euros. On a positive, um, Lufthansa received a 9 billion euro bailout from Germany. This is temporary, and Lufthansa plans on paying it back. They say that is not, they don't need that whole amount, but the German authorities say that they want to keep um, Lufthansa ready to go and kept to the high standards for which it's known for. Sales analysis. Lufthansa reported a net loss of 2.1 billion euros for the first 3 months of the year, as I just stated. The same time last year was negative 342 million euros. So there's been a slight increase and decrease as some restructuring was already being taken place. But overall for the year, there was a profit in 2019. The average from last June to December for stock price was $15.19 per share. January to May, it's around $11.44. So you can see how it went up and then started bottoming out. Hopefully we'll see that recovery. It is estimated it could take years to recover to pre-pandemic levels. Air traffic has started to pick back up, but it'll take time. Ticket prices need to be reduced in the short term to entice travelers to fly. Businesses are transitioning to Zoom and other type video conferencing. Leisure travelers are limited in options and still restricted, but again, that's going to loosen up, and then safety is a consideration, and then that confidence needs to be restored. So in the meantime, condense, then restore demand. Make people feel safe. Once that happens, then the traffic will start coming back. Another way to increase demand is by keeping prices low, to increase passenger volume while keeping operations flowing. Some examples from other airlines include no change fees and partnering with governments and other organizations, businesses, companies to reduce hotel and other tourism costs or provide some type of incentive. Lastly, this goes along with personal analysis. Customer service should be pushed and emphasized as competition will be fierce, and one way to attract and keep customers is through exceptional customer service. So again, there's going to be a lot of options. Customer service could be the deciding factor. Now, once all this is past us, the risk analysis, where can we go from here? What opportunities do we foresee? Well, Europe is the main operational area for Lufthansa. It is currently saturated, a currently saturated market. But you can see here that by the visualization, Asia Pacific is around 20, all the same as the North Atlantic, around 20% of traffic revenue. South America, Africa, Middle East are around 5%. But one opportunity that we see, and we think the risk is worth taking when the time presents itself, we think that the market should expand to the Far East to include China and India. India's air transportation sector estimates that air passenger numbers to, from, and within India to increase by 3.3 times over the next 20 years, which equates to more than 500 million passenger journeys per year. That is a lot of growth in an untapped market. It was already seen that demand in India has already increased since the flights have been canceled or lowered. India's demand just over the last week has saturated, and the booking is around 100%. So it is there, and that will continue for the foreseeable future. So that's one area that we think Lufthansa should look into in expanding. Here are a list of references. Thank you for listening to the presentation. Have a good day.